Hello everybody. In this video, we are going to start consuming a real API. I will try to do a couple of examples. I will use one that is simple enough in order to understand how to make the calls and how we can pull it up in our application. And then I will do a second one a little more complex that will require some parameters probably on AP key. And as an assignment, I will need you to consume another one different than the ones that I actually put on the video. So I hope that you already did the quiz and you already read the assignment for the what is an API, what is the HTTP pairs and all that. So we can actually get started. So we're going to be using our basic view router as base. As you can, it's a little bit also probably I need to update it. But for now, I will be using this. And you're free to use mine too. So don't worry about that. I will put the links on the comment. So the idea is going to be used as so we have a base, we have a list, something already created. We don't start from scratch. And the idea is to consume an API from this list. So here I have 15 fun APIs for your next project. And there is a bunch of them that we can actually use. And it gives us a repository with a bunch of other ones that we can use later. So I will invite you to actually look at it. And you need to choose one from the list, pretty much, from this one or this list. It doesn't matter. For now, I will keep it simple, and I want to use the advice sleep API. This is a really simple API that just require a GET request through an endpoint, and that will return an advice, a random advice. I can retrieve an advice by ID, or I can or I can search a specific advice by a specific query. And that query could be a word, it could be something specific that I need to send. So I believe this should be more than enough. What I want to do is I want to create an application that will pull up the random advice at the beginning, and it has a search box. And when you search for something, it will pull up the rest of the advice through the search advice method. And that be it. That should be simple enough to understand how to do that. We're going to be using two different libraries for this. The main one is going to be Axios, and Axios should be more than enough for us. Axios is a typical client for the browser and Node.js, and it's really helpful to go through the process how to make an API call. As you can see, we just need to import Axios itself, and then we can do a GET request to a specific, and it gives us a promise with the specific response, right? That response usually came up in the data element, so response data should be actually the response itself. The response have the header, have the status, all that information that came out when you make an API call. So everything came in that object, but we can actually use asynchronous, and I actually like better to use asynchronous. We can just send an API call like this, or we can specify parameters like these ones, or there are different elements. We can do a post too. We can create a function that's wrapping a Axios call on an Axios API call. And the best way to use it is with the configuration itself, where we can actually specify configuration, or even you can create an instance. And that's where we are mostly going to use it. Create an instance with a base information. This is pretty much the information that we can have, like the URL or the base URL itself, parameters. We need to send parameters. If we need to send something on the body, things like that, right? Credentials, stuff like that. And on top of that, I want to use view request. It's a really good wrapper for making a request, and actually it can work alone, as you can see over here, sending through a string, or it can be a wrapper through Axios, and we can make a call. The benefit of using this is that we'll make our call responsive. It will already wrap it out and will make the calls automatically for us. So that means that will be a little bit faster and easy for us to consume. So in a view application, we're going to use those two, and I will show you how easy it is. Well, to be sincere, I never use view request, but it looks pretty cool. So let's let's see how it goes in this video. I've been using Axios a lot in the past, so this should be pretty much easy. And I like what I see over here. So let's see how this actually works. Okay. So we know that we have a couple of endpoints that we need to call, the advice endpoint and the search endpoint. The advice endpoint doesn't have anything else, just making the call itself and should be more than enough. And we add the search, we just need to set the search as it's not even a parameter, it's part of the URL. So it's actually say the search object. Let's see what is the search object. This removes the example give you the common results, and the sleeves are the different advices that will return the application itself. So yeah, that should be more than enough. Let's see how it goes. So let's get this one. I will create advice API. I will call like that. We'll make create repository. I will wait for a minute. Okay, let me clone it. So let me get back one level. Let me do git clone that one. Oh my god, this is slow. Sorry. I go to advice API. I will install my dependencies. I will just do a simple npm out to verify if I have something outdated, and I have a lot in this case. So I can do a simple npm update, and it should be more than enough to pull the new information there. There's the npm out again. Yeah, we're up to speed. We open it with Visual Studio Code. And I will just get back to here, and I will do npm run that just to run the code right away. Okay, we have the router running right there. Cool. So let's do some changes here and there. The first thing is to go to the index.html and we'll call advice calls. And in my source application.view probably, no, in my component navigation, I will change this to be advice call. I change the name. I don't need a router, so probably I can just get rid of this navigation. Oops. Let me add this padding J to th1 probably, and I can remove now the navigation. There you go. And just because of that, this mean that I can put this center. There you go. Yeah. So I have application. One last thing that I will do is in my package JSON, I will change this to advice call, right? And that should be it. For now, I can just commit everything and I say put some changes just to make the call. After I have that, I will open my terminal and well, before we actually solve those, let's tag this the way that it's supposed to. Let's go to the pages and let me remove the about page. I don't need it. Let me remove hello page. And in my router, I will remove the about and the hello. And I will remove the about and the hello. I don't need those. Okay, more, that should be enough. Okay, so in my index, I have my home page there. Let's create a simple div element. Here I will do an input, type text. Yeah, let's do a placeholder. And let's holder search and advice. Okay, and I can specify, let's do some classes there. And let's do with full, padding top of, I don't know, 16 maybe? Actually, let's do margin. Yeah, rounded full. Text center, padding Y of 4. Text Excel. That should be more than enough. Let me make this a little bit smaller so you can actually read it. Yeah, okay, I have my advice there to search it, and I want to pull up a random advice at the bottom. And I will call this, let's do a, a paragraph, and let's do lorem. Let's do a grid, actually. Let's do div, and let's do class, grid, grid call, and class actually need to do the equal here. And let's do grid calls, let's do 3 columns probably. And inside we have different paragraph. Alright, there you go. So let me replicate that. Let's do a gap for those want to be, I don't know, 4. And padding top of 8. Yeah, that should be simple enough. And let's actually make this smaller. Let's make 2. And let's increment the gap to 16. There you go. Padding top 16 too. Yeah, let's make it simple. So what I want to do here, it will be my layout pretty much. And it's a really simple layout. So let's comment all out and let's say layout done. And now the important thing came. So inside my source, I will create a new file inside, and that file will be inside the composable. Composable, and it will call this use advice. Right? For this, I will import my reference for now. Yeah, let's import the reference from view. And I will const advices equal, yeah, something like that. Should be more than enough. And let's make advice lorem, And let's multiply this a couple of times. Right? So let's actually, we have like, I don't know, 5 advices. And I will do cons, use, advice, better advices. For now, I will do export, default, use advice. Right? This is just, how can I say it? Um, dumb element, but it will be pretty much the structure that I need to have for this. That means that in my index, I should be able to do my script setup. I will do import use advice from composable advice. There you go. And I do cons. Here I will use hmm, advices actually. And I can do now here a simple before. So let's do before advice index in advices where my key should be my index in this case, right? Hmm. Something is not working right now. Let me check what is happening. Okay, found the error. So what I did here is just getting the advice from my advices, right? And my paragraph will be the advice in this case. That's how the object is. But here the issue is when I'm exporting it, I'm exporting everything, and it should be just that element like this. So if I do this and I restart, then I have all my advices right here the way they're supposed to be. Now something weird is that I have hmm, I don't know, I didn't get the columns. It looked like I didn't get the columns. So I have 3, 5, 3, 5. Oh, wait. Yeah, because this is a block element probably. Or because the gap is just too big. Oh, wait. I know what is the issue. I need to have another div here. My paragraph will be inside the div, but my before should be here. Oops. I don't know what happened here. There you go. Yeah, so this is the one that get repeated, and it will keep it the advice, so that way we have my advice in 2 columns, and it's been reading the way they're supposed to. Okay, so we have those. So the idea here will be start using the API itself. So I need to import, I need to install npm install Axios, and I will install and getting started view request. So I install Axios and view request. Right. I will go to use advice, and I will keep this empty for now. I refresh, there you go. So I will do here. We can actually see the data fetching. I just import access from Axios and use request from there. So let's put those two, right? And I can use a Axios instance. So let's call this cons API. Let's call API equal Axios create with my base URL to be my advice sleep. And I don't know, wow, this was really cool. To get the advice endpoint, very well. And that should be it, right? So in theory, I should be able just to do a simple request that is going to be using that instead of Axios itself. So I can use something here, cons, let me see what is I should recommend me. Hmm, that should be more than enough. If data, interesting. Value dot push will be a little bit different here. Data sleep advice. Hmm. Sorry, it was fascinating how my autocomplete through Copilot did all this. We're going to use something similar, but let's simplify it. I just wanted to see what is actually came up. So we have the Axios endpoint, right? We're going to create a simple get random advice. Cons get random advice, and that will be simple a simple API. Perfect. Yeah, it's pretty much like this. And let's make this asynchronous. And let's make this wait. And let's actually return it. That means that we can actually use no, you know what? Let's actually create it like this. Get random advice is going to be an instance of Axios. And then here we're going to be using cons pretty much like that. I don't need loading an error. I will just provide the data from this request. And that data should be mm, data dot push data lib by something like that. So we're just making the call and we just push in the information. That should be enough. Let's see if this actually works. Of course it didn't. So something that I recommend you to use is View 3 DevTools. If you're using Google Chrome, you can download it through here. Is right now is the beta one. You need to remove install it. Or if you're using Firefox, you can look for the Firefox one. There you go. The View DevTool. Probably not this one. We go here. So the Chrome for the beta channel, that's the one. And for Firefox is right here. Yes. And the beta channel is this one. So you need to remember download the beta one. That will allow you to, when you inspect the element, you have that view element over here. And we can define what something is doing here. As you can see, my bytes is have an array, and my first array is undefined. That means that my call is actually working, but it's not pulling the data the way that it's supposed to be. Probably because, let's see what is data itself. Let's do a simple console log data just to verify what is there. And let's restart it. But random advice didn't want it. If I go through here directly, I can pull up this. So it should be working. So why my use request doesn't like it? Message not found. Hmm. Okay, let's do this asynchronous. Let's do this await. And let's change this to, let me comment this out. And let's get the const response equal await the random advice. And let's do my response dot data should be here. So let's make the call. Let's call this from response to res. Or this didn't like the word response itself. Oh, oops. I can use response, but here I need to do asynchronous. Try it. That one is actually coming empty. There you go. Okay, my forward slash thing, it was actually messing up. We can see that the sleep is right here, and we have the advice. It's actually coming. Perfect. So my call was not set up correctly. That means that I can do something like this. and remove this and just get the data itself. Let's check that. Okay, data.value. Let's verify, define it. Root value, I have the data over here. We have the sleep element. Okay, it's data sleep advice. Data.sleep.advice. Hmm, interesting. I'm making the call. The call is working. The information is wrapped the way it's supposed to be, but data.value, or is reactive directly? No. That's a wait, probably. Reading advice. So advice didn't come up. And sleep, so define it. Do I need to bring the data? Data.data? No. Oh, wait. Probably data.advice in singular. No. So probably what I can do here, just to verify my advices, will be dot value equal a data sleep advice. That work? Yeah, we have an issue. Dot push, because it's an array, I want to push my data that just came out from my use request. And that happened without checking the extension first. So give me a second. Okay, this all happened to me. So let's get away from the view request. It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, or it's going to take longer to understand it. So let's just remove it and let's use the old-fashioned actions directly. So view request, get away. Okay, so we create the API is our actions request. So let's actually remove this from here. Okay, what we have there. Data is not defined. Yeah, because this should be advices. And it will send something random with advice. That should be connecting, probably. No? Use advice in advices. Actually, this should be working now. Mm, let me check. I'm refreshing. Again. There you go. Advice undefined. Just advice here. Yes, so just advice is here. And the advices should came from there. That we actually define it through here. I get rid of this. Reduce this for now, and this. Let's keep it simple the way they're supposed to be. We have the original issue. We have reference, and we have errors. Advices is undefined, but I'm returning from here. Oh, yes, I'm exporting const use advice because it's asynchronous. Maybe because I put it asynchronous now. No, it's worse. There you go. Yeah, the asynchronous was messing up. Okay, so let's import actions. We create this. And let's use the probably we can send this down. Let's put this actually inside. And it will be as this one will be asynchronous, but it will not return anything. Let's do const response equal await API get. There you go. And if we have if response status equal to 100, that should work. Advice value is response that is sleep advice. Value.push. Okay, and we need to export that one. Actually, this should be executed. So instead of exporting it, so probably we can get this up, right? And here we just execute that one. There you go. Never cook your own fridge. It's doing it. And we can do something like this. Learn to handle criticism. Don't promise what you can't deliver. We are sending the data sleep element. The way they put why sleep? Because that's how actually came from the database itself. Okay, so this is actually working. That means that we can actually empty out this. And don't burn bridges. That should work. When having a clear out, ask yourself an item has a financial practical value. It's not, chuck it. There you go. Different advices that came randomly. Now we need to search an advice. Oh, wait, it's not and, it's an. Mm, So let's look for or index or placeholder. Where is it? Search an advice. So what I want to do now, so we have to get the random advice. And I want to execute cons search. Let's call it simple search. And this should be asynchronous. And we're going to get from the response from there, but we need to call it, remember that it's advice, and then we have forward slash search and the query itself. That means that we're going to send the search item should be here, and we're going to get, and we need to do this, the search element, and we need to send as a query the search item, right? And then we just do something like the difference with the search, and let's remove this. Going to search object, sleeps is in plural, so we can actually do something similar. If the status is fine, if we found something, then we can close it. At values, it will be equal response data sleeps plural. And that should be it. And we need to send the advices, and we need to send the search, right? So the random advice is going to run the beginning. That's why we just execute it like this, just to get the random one. It's going to get whenever we land it on the page, right? So the second one, we actually need to search it. For that, let's use over here, let's import reference from view, and let's do const search item equal reference empty. This input will have a bmodel of search item. That means I put something here. There you go, it's working. Look at this. Whenever I change something and it gets, you get a new one get pushed. Nice. So let's get back here, and we have the value push. Let's actually do value 0. So always change the first element. No. Well, let's keep it like that. Or let's keep it like value equal that works. There you go. Value equal that, and then here the value will be another one that I need to send. Okay, perfect. So for the search item, we have the P model there, and we can actually do advices and search. We need to get a search, is who we call it. And we just need to do a simple add change to search. And probably we need to do the validation, things like that. But for example, let's do call moment. And did it work or not? Search item. Time. Oh, wait, a change. We need to call the search with our search item. We're not sending the search item to there. So we have the random one as you look time. Unless you are cheese. Moment. Okay, there you go. We have issues here. Oh, look at this. I have a in my network tab. I can see that I'm looking for C without the R search. So that means that here I'm missing an R. Okay. So let's refresh. Let's look for time. There you go. Moment. There you go. And we have an API now. So we're making calls in order to call the API and make it work the way that it's supposed to. And this is this is supposed to be the easy one. So we'll stop it here. She was making a call through Axios really quick. And reading a little bit the documentation, we have a couple of endpoints. What I want to look for now is make it the same application, but a little bit more complex and probably with pagination, where we pull up data and then we can actually select that data element and we see details of that. And probably we need to get something with authorization. In this case, the API call was really straightforward because we don't need to have authorization at all. And we just have two endpoints that we're using, the random one that is just the root itself, and the search element with a specific element that we're looking for. And that should be it. So let me stop the video and actually push all of them. Advice call done. I'm making, let me see if I can sync through here. I don't know if that works, not yet, but I can do it through here. Git push origin master. There you go. And my advanced API. Now I have my advice called advice. Well, it is what it is, right? So let's stop the video for now and let's now create the second one. Any question, any doubt, don't hesitate to reach me. Happy coding, everybody.